It's a little weird. Like, I would say, for me, I'm not someone that responds super well to that. I like to make my own decisions, and I think I know what's best typically.
My initial response was kind of put off by it because it sounded weak.
So the first time that I heard the word submission, I was like, nope, not happening. I'm a strong, independent woman, and it's not gonna happen. No man's gonna tell me what to do. And so that was my initial reaction to the word submission.
The world misses looking at it through the lens of love, right? And so when we look at submission through the lens of sacrifice and of love, because of Christ, it makes sense. But the world looks at it in the sense of defeat and selfishness and our own personal self. And so
part of it is just like going out of my way and doing those little things of just doing the dishes or dusting, and I'm not perfect at it by any means, but it's when I try and do those things where it really shows that we love each other and submit to each other in that way.
I view submission as respect, as how can I help you? What can I do to further us together? So I think that boils down to a lot of listening, a lot of paying attention, a lot of having faith in one another.
He let me have the space to wrestle with the Lord and not with him. It was never with him. It was always with the Lord. And that was so healthy from a wife perspective of I never felt the pressure to submit to his leadership and his authority in our marriage. It was submit to the Lord, and he's going to put us on the same page. It isn't us trying to get each other on the same page. So
there are other times in our marriage where I feel led to something first, or I feel conviction about something first, and I've learned sometimes I need to wait for you. And then there are times when I know that you are waiting for me.
So it's good there's two. Yes. Sometimes even if it's the right thing to do, it's not the right time. And so it's helpful to have two people in that process.
It's a partnership. And so I feel like in a partnership and being on a team, there's a natural two-way submission for there to be good teamwork.
When you look at Jesus, was Jesus the leader of the church? Yeah. But when you looked at what leadership looked like for Jesus, it was death. It was dying. It was submission. It was humility. It was sacrifice. It was service. Like, he just completely reframed what leadership looks like. And so if we're defining leadership that way, then I do believe that Christ has made me the leader of my home. But that doesn't mean that I'm the king who makes all the decisions. It means that I'm the one who's called to sacrifice, and I'm the one who's called to serve.
Well, you get to choose the person, like, and this is for the guys too, like, you get to choose the person who you are submitting to for the rest of your life. Like, and so if the person that you're dating or engaged to or like on the path to marriage is not someone whose character is like showing good fruit or chasing after God, like, you're signing up to submit to that person for the rest of your life. And that should kind of give you a little bit of a heart check. I want to be the kind of wife that speaks highly of her husband to other people and like points out his strengths and not just his weaknesses.
Well, loving somebody else means, because we're all wired so differently, it would be loving my wife selfishly if I loved her the way that I want to be loved. And so to honor her means I have to know her. It means I have to know how she's wired.
That kind of takes it back to like, oh, submission sounds like you're giving in, like you're super weak, but like, no, it means that you're compassionate, and it means that you can get on the level of another person and you can admit that you aren't the most important person in this marriage.
I think just part of honoring you is being nice to you and making sure that I'm taking that role seriously and trying to say to you what I feel like God would say to you.
I think we both value and respect each other's opinion a lot. We go to each other for counsel often. And so I think we honor each other in that we both assume the other person has good wisdom and insight to provide into our situation. And we want that and desire that. And so we kind of, I think, esteem each other and how we place value on each other's opinions and abilities.
Honoring what her goals in life are and not just mine, where it's, I want the best life for her and her to get, I want her to accomplish all her dreams that she ever, sets in front of her, and just being able to help her through all of that.
At the core of it is putting your own desires and your wants and your needs aside.
In honoring someone, there's a natural need for sacrifice. And so in my honoring Sarah and striving to do that daily, again, some days are better than others, but there's sacrifice that has to be made. If I'm not making a sacrifice, then it's not for anybody other than myself.
If I even sense that she is starting to feel overwhelmed by commitments or anything
Which is
around
not
life,
hard to overwhelm me.
to just take care of something, even if it seems relatively small, means a lot to her.
It starts with me thinking of her before I think of myself and wondering what she needs or what she wants or what would make her happy or what would be good for her before I consider what I might need for that day.
To be fair, he brings me coffee every morning. I feel like he starts the day striving to do that with little things. It's because day to day it's so messy that it's there's the real life things that are happening. We have a 2-year-old, and so it's
the little things matter.
But the little things do matter, and that's just part of knowing what speaks to me.
Giving her the same grace that Jesus has given me, and letting her feel that to the full extent, and not letting her doubt that for a single moment.
I think often about how it doesn't feel fair that I got to marry you because you put my needs above yours almost always. And the only reason I'm saying almost is because I'm sure there are times that you don't, but it doesn't feel that way a lot of the times. You go out of your way for me a lot.
I have never, in 22 years of marriage, questioned his love and devotion to me. I have never doubted our marriage. I have never been fearful of him walking away.
For me, the best way to love Austin is to listen to him share his stories and then just offer levels of encouragement, because I think sometimes he doesn't realize how great he really is.
I think I've learned a lot about praying as we're having hard conversations and asking God to help me to respect you, because sometimes it would feel a lot easier to just hear all my thoughts. And sometimes I do, because it's hard to put yourself below and listen to what someone else is thinking and feeling what's not your perception.
I think taking the same thread of listening and paying attention, being intentional, those all kind of wrap together into how you respect your spouse, because you can't respect them if you don't know them, if you don't understand them, if you don't know what makes them tick.
Other thing that I show him, I guess, love and respect, physical touch. That is his number one love language, and it's not mine. And so I have to actively think about, I need to treat him the way he wants to be treated.
I need to be watching how I speak about my husband. I need to be watching how, not only am I respecting him to himself, to him in our home, but how do I respect him to a group of people, and how do I respect him to his friends and our family and stuff like that.
I try really hard to build him up to our kids. When there are things that I see that he has done for our family in a way of sacrifice or for them, I will go out of my way to say, you have a really good dad, and I want them to see that.
You are the closest in-person manifestation of God's grace that I think I get to experience in my life, and helps me understand God's grace better through how you interact with me.